Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Kristy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. Today's going to be a good one. I'm excited. So today we're just going to talk, we're going to talk about motivation, but we're just going to talk as friends. I'm just going to coach you. I'm going to give you a little tough love, a little realism here. I'll be honest, I struggled coming up with something to talk about this week. Just to let you in on a little bit about me, I will not record a podcast episode unless I am really feeling the topic. Like, I am not the kind of person that can just get on here and talk about something surface level or something that I'm not into or something that I feel like isn't really going to help my clients. So I was really struggling this week. I had to have some conversations. I talked to my husband about kind of just what I was thinking. I talked to a couple different other coaches in this space. I talked to my clients about kind of what they were going through just to get a really good feel and honestly, just to get inspired. And I did, and it worked. So I'm excited about today. We're going to talk about motivation, like I said, but this is going to take a little bit of a turn. And in true Kristy Castillo fit fashion, we talk about everything a little bit differently because why not, right? Everything that you've heard, honestly, in regards to health and fitness is it can be so redundant because people can just say it in a way that's very, very surface level and very bullshitty. And I don't think that's very helpful. And so I tend to get a little bit deeper with my clients. For example, if they're telling me that they don't feel motivated or I don't know, they're just not feeling it, right? They want to be into it or whatever. I always dig a little deeper and try to figure out what's actually going on, right? So let's dive in. Motivation, that thing that we wait for, we want to have. How many times have you said, for me, I can't even count the times. How many times have you said that you want to have motivation? You just don't have the motivation, right? Or you want to feel motivated. Waiting for that motivation is a complete waste of time. Never have I felt this more in the last, I don't know. I was going to say year, but honestly, with COVID and everything, it's been probably a few years really since I have felt motivated or since I was motivated, I guess. I don't really even pay attention to the fact that I'm motivated or not, but it's been a long time since since I have felt any kind of motivation or get up and go or enthusiasm for certain things, and working out honestly being one of them. I do it consistently no matter what, obviously, but I haven't really felt super motivated. So I want you to know, first of all, that I'm there. When I give my clients tips or, advice on really anything, it's because I've been there. But motivation, since we're talking about that, when I give my clients tips on motivation or advice and I walk them through it, it's because I've walked myself through that so many times that it just feels automatic to give this advice. It's a complete waste of time waiting for motivation. Motivation isn't something that you can always have. It's not even a thing. You won't have motivation. You will feel motivated sometimes, but just like every other feeling, it will come and go. Just like you're not always happy, you're not always sad, you're not always confident, you're not always whatever, right? Whatever else feelings that you have on occasion, motivation will come and go. It's a feeling. So, and I know that we know that, but we're still waiting for it, right? We know, I think deep down that we know we won't always feel motivated because we're not always feeling motivated. But I think we wait for that and think that something's wrong with us if we're not feeling that way because it appears that other people are. Waiting for that, waiting to feel that way, or waiting for the perfect time in life, it's never coming, guys. Truth bomb. It's never coming. The time when you'll always feel excited to get in the gym and, to do all the things, and the perfect time in life when you'll just have time. That's not going to happen. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news there, but in regards to health and fitness, of course, I find in the beginning of a fitness journey or the beginning of a new program, the beginning of something different, you commit to something, and that's often exciting, motivating. You find the motivation to do the things that you're supposed to do for this particular program. But after a few weeks, that motivation fades. And I actually was talking about this in my Body Boss program to my Body Boss ladies. That's a workout program that I started. This is their 5th week. Well, as I'm recording this is their 5th week. But this week is hard because, you can do anything for like 4 weeks. And then that 5th week is like, I'm not really feeling like I could do this forever, or I'm tired of this, or whatever. There's certain weeks that I find throughout my ladies' fitness journeys that the motivation is it's just lacking. The want, the desire, it's just not there. And it's especially not there if you're not seeing the results you want to see. So think about week 5 in a fitness program, right? Most of my ladies, obviously you have a monthly cycle. So somewhere in those 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even twice, you've had a week of your monthly cycle, you're feeling emotional, you're feeling hormonal, you're bloated, you're feeling like shit. So those weeks especially, you're like, oh, I don't have the energy. I don't want to do this. So there are certain weeks where you will always and throughout your life feel off. And especially like week 5, right? Then there's like again at week 9. Those are times when my ladies feel especially unmotivated, unenergetic about doing the things that they're supposed to do. So I actually went live in that group earlier this week and talked about this week in particular and how to, dig a little deeper into this and kind of like what's going on for them. And so that's what I want to talk to you about right now. So when the motivation fades, when it's not there, when you're not feeling it, or you don't have the motivation, you have to dig a little deeper. And I heard this quote yesterday and it was like perfect for this podcast. So this is so good. Get ready. It comes down to this. People don't change until staying the same is more painful than changing. I'm going to say that again. People don't change until staying the same is more painful than changing. Now, I've heard that quote a couple different ways. And of course, it's kind of like choose your hard, right? It's hard to stay the same. It's hard to change. So you can kind of take that in different ways. But the simplicity of that quote in itself, it really perked me up. And I thought it was perfect. And so basically, this journey will force you to change. You're wanting to be motivated. But what's really happening when you're telling yourself, I'm not motivated, I don't feel motivated, I don't have the motivation, what you're really saying is, I'm in the middle of a choice. I'm standing right here. I'm saying that I'm not motivated, but really, it's time for me to make a choice. Do I want to stay in the current version of myself and do what I've been doing and blaming lack of motivation? Or do I want to change and do the things anyway, even though I'm quote unquote not feeling motivated? Do I want to stay the same or do I want to change? Am I going to stay the same? Not even do I want to. Am I going to stay the same or am I going to change right now? You're blaming that motivation and choosing to stay the same. When you blame motivation and you say, I didn't do that because wasn't feeling motivated, I didn't have the energy, I didn't want to, you're choosing to stay the same. You're choosing to not work out, to not track your macros, to not go for that walk, to not purchase the workout program, to not upload your progress pictures, to not weigh yourself, to not take the photos and put them side by side and look at your victories. You're blaming the fact that you're not motivated, but in reality, you're just putting it off. You are just reverting back or choosing to stay in the current version of yourself. And so when it's put like that, that's really simply the truth. When it's put like that, it's really black and white in front of you is what you're doing is just kind of using motivation as a cop-out because we all know that we're not motivated to do everything that we do in a day, but we do it anyway. Do you ask yourself if you're motivated? Well, to get out of bed, first of all, no, never, but I do it anyway. Brushing my teeth, God, showering, doing my hair, putting on my makeup, doing my skincare routine, getting my kids off to school for the day, working, mopping my floor. I mean, basically anything that I'm doing in a day right now, apparently, I am not motivated to do, damn it. And so, but I'm doing it anyway. And so if you're blaming motivation for the fact that you're not working out, or you're not meal prepping, or you're not doing the shit that you need to do for your fitness journey, that's literally just a cop out. And you're just choosing to stay the same. So the truth is, you have to change and do it anyway, right? The people that, and I actually straight up said, and I hate saying things like this, the people that have what you want as far as your body or anything in life, they're not motivated either. They're just doing it whether they want to or not. And I said in the live video when I was coaching, because in my Body Boss group especially, I'm doing that with these ladies. And so they're doing the workouts that I'm doing. They're getting me in there every single week live. And they're getting a raw version of me, mind you, because I promised these ladies I would show up, and I always show up as I am, but behind the scenes, it's a little bit different. I promised them that I would show up. I don't know if I ever have makeup on in my live videos. My hair is always in a ponytail, probably 3 days dirty. I'm always in a sports bra. And I'm always just telling them, like, I'm struggling through these workouts, or kind of like what I'm going through, because I want them to know that what they are going through is the same. But I told them I have really not been motivated, especially the last few months, up until like a year. And the difference, and like I said, I hate saying this, the difference between me and people that wait until they're motivated is just that I do the shit anyway. I never ask myself before a workout, before a meal that I don't want to eat, before food that I don't want to prep. I don't do a whole lot of prep, but I buy a lot of things. I eat a lot of snacks. I'm busy just like you, so I snack a lot of things. But anyway, before I do anything that I know I need to do for my fitness journey, I never ask myself if I'm motivated. If there is a workout on my schedule for the day, I'm going to get it done if at all possible. And if not, I'm going to do it the next day. I do it anyway. And that's literally the difference. One of the things that I also want to talk about in what's different than like my journey and my clients' journeys is the workouts that we do are hard, but they're also kind of fun. I, again, don't like to toot my own horn very often, but I'm very good at creating workouts that my ladies enjoy as much as you can possibly enjoy a workout doing. I make a variety of workouts. We're still doing exactly what we need to do in these workouts, but I make them as fun as possible, exciting. I mix it up. They're still getting results and working the body parts they need to be working, but they're different each time. If that program allows for that, it has to be something that you enjoy as well. You're not going to show up for something. And I talked about this a few weeks ago, how to find a fitness program you can stick to. It has to be something that you enjoy, but you also do have to be seeing the results that you want to see. But that's one thing that I had to tweak in my own life, is finding workouts that I did enjoy and that I do not necessarily look forward to, but I don't freaking hate when I'm doing them. I started to hate putting in a DVD or, going onto an app and finding my workout for the day and like following along with another human. I started to really, really dread that. Shouldn't say hate. I dreaded that so much. And so I had to find a different way that I would enjoy it. But even when I didn't like, following along with someone else, I would still do it because I'm making the choice to not stay the same. I want to change. I want to do the thing that's going to move me toward my goal. Even if I don't exactly know what that is, I'm going to show up for myself anyway. So it's a little bit about commitment and finding that program that will work for you and that you're seeing results in. But it's more so about just doing what you said you would do and doing this for yourself. Otherwise, it's the beginning of self-sabotage, which is a topic all its own. I won't go into that today. Maybe that'll be an episode in the future, because self-sabotage is huge. I find that so often with my ladies. That's really what it boils down to. And that's what I wanted to talk about mostly today. Yes, it helps to have the right program. It helps to be seeing the results that you want to see, which means setting yourself up for realistic expectations, which we also talked about in a previous episode. So all of these things matter, that I've talked about up until this episode, like it all is combined, but none of that matters if you're just going to choose to say you're not motivated and say you're not excited and say this isn't working for me, I'm too tired. my kids are little and I'm so busy, then none of this matters. If you're not going to do the work and you're going to blame, outside factors, none of this matters anyway. None of that's going to matter. The program and the results, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get the results if you don't do the thing. And so this is really important. And I want to say that quote one more time. People don't change until staying the same is more painful than changing. And you have to decide whether staying the same is more painful. And I feel like that changes. Definitely when I started, full force into my first program, my first 90-day program, it was way more painful to stay the same physically and mentally. I was postpartum. So I feel like that's a different space in itself, obviously. But, the workouts were they were so hard. Actually, I didn't really enjoy them, but that wasn't nearly as painful as getting up every morning and not liking the person that I saw, in the mirror physically. And so it was I need to do something to change that. So you have to decide for yourself when you're going to change, when staying the same is more painful. And if staying the same right now for you isn't painful, then you won't change. If you're comfortable where you are and you're making excuses or maybe if you're just comfortable where you are, awesome. But if you say you're comfortable where you are and then you make all these excuses and you complain about your clothes not fitting and you're not confident, that's a whole different situation. And you're making these excuses, then I would beg to differ that staying the same is comfortable for you if that's the case. But I loved that quote and I thought that it brought a lot of clarity and just a lot of yes. I don't know. When I read that, I just thought, yes, that is it. And so I write that quote down somewhere where you can see it daily. And I think just having little quotes like that in my mind are really, really helpful. It puts things into perspective for me. So I hope this episode on motivation was helpful. I know I've heard people say dig a little deeper and you have to have a why. And those things are great. They don't work for me. And so I thought this episode would be helpful for people like me, where I do have a why for my fitness journey and it changes a lot. I have different whys for different things. But for me, when times are especially hard, that why just isn't enough. And that sounds really bad, maybe depending on what your why is, but it's true. I'm just here to be real with you. Sometimes your why will not get you out of bed. And that's just true. Sometimes your why will not push you to do the things that you need to do. Sometimes you need some accountability and you need to just show up for yourself and you need to just do the shit that you need to do, period. It just comes down to that sometimes. It's just grit and grinding it out no matter what. Doing half the workout instead of the whole thing, it doesn't matter. Just showing up and keeping that promise to yourself. Sometimes it really just boils down to that. If you are like me and that resonates with you, that's who this podcast episode is for, because sometimes tough love is just really, really needed. So I hope you enjoyed the tough love today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it helped you to understand maybe why you're not feeling motivated and why you're waiting for that and maybe why it's not coming. I hope that that really helped you and you will understand that it's not coming and you have to make that choice. So be sure to share this episode with your friends. Be sure to screenshot and share and tag me on your social media because we all need to hear this episode. And I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Kristy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.